Hello, students. I wanted to make a quick video to demonstrate the difference between using Excel Online and Excel, the desktop application. Okay, so there are two versions of Excel. One is what I call the online version, and the other one is the full Excel application that is installed on your computer. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate the differences between the two and then explain the differences in how they perform so that you can understand which one you're using. And if you're using the online version, that is fine if you're doing some Excel project and it's a basic project, or you're sharing it with another coworker or another student. Again, it's a fairly basic Excel project. That's great. That's great for Excel Online. But if you're trying to learn Excel and you're taking an Excel class, then you want to make sure that you're using the Excel desktop application, sometimes just called Excel Desktop, sometimes called the Excel app, but it's the full installed version of Excel that's installed on your computer. The Excel Online version you visit by connecting to Microsoft's website. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate the difference right now. But for my Excel class, you must have the Excel desktop version, the fully installed version. And at Santa Ana College and at Cypress College, and I think at most colleges, if you're taking a class, you can have access to the full version of Excel, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and you can download and install those programs to your computer. And you should. So on the screen right now, I'm showing 6 different questions or characteristics that we're going to check to verify whether we're looking at and using the online version or the desktop version. Now, the first 4 questions, you can see that if you answer yes to those, it means you're using the Excel online version. The last 2 questions, if you answer yes to those, then that means that you're using the desktop version. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at these by having me switch. I'm going to switch over to this particular program here. And I think I'm going to switch to a full page view momentarily. So let me go to a full page view, screen view. There we go. You can see the entire screen. What I want to point out is that this is Excel. It certainly looks like Excel. And I want to point out that it is appearing in a web browser. This is Mozilla Firefox. And so you can see the Excel tab at the very top. In fact, now I'm going to zoom in and show you a little more closely what things look like. Because when I operate at this level, it's hard for you to see the detail when I'm showing you an entire screen. So I'm going to zoom in a little more closely. So I've zoomed in a little more closely to show you that though this is certainly Excel, it is inside of a browser. So here is a browser tab, which you can see the Excel icon on this browser tab. I could switch over to another tab. Here's one with a red M on it. This is another web page I'm looking at. In fact, I'll move across, show you another one. Here's here's a web page related to a class I'm teaching, and then here's another web page that I'm looking at, and then here's another web page that I'm looking at. Okay, so that last one is way over here. So that's BLS, and here's the red M web page. Here's a Canvas web page. Here's yet another page, and then here's Excel. So Excel is running, but this is the online version of Excel because it's running inside of a browser tab. Now, this particular Excel example, online Excel example, is related to my Cypress College Excel account. Okay. And so I'm going to show you my Santa Ana College one because it just looks a little bit different. Here's the Excel at Santa Ana College, and I'll show you the, nearly the whole screen. There you go. That's almost the whole screen, but I'm going to come in a little closer like I did with the other one. What I want to show you here is what you can see is that things are larger. In the Santa Ana College experience of the Excel online program, I don't know why things appear so much larger. I tried to reset it thinking that maybe I had zoomed in, but I'm not so sure if I've zoomed in or not. But now let me show you the things that are the same. So we've answered the first questions. Let me go back to the questions. Does the program appear on a tab within a browser window? Yes. Whether I'm using Excel Online related to Santa Ana College or Cypress College, it's certainly on a tab inside the browser window. Now, I didn't really demonstrate this in the Santa Ana College one, but here I'll show you. You can see the tab up near the top here. This is the Book 12 Excel tab. To the right of it, you can see there's a purple icon tab called Course Catalog. I go over there, and this is the self-service area where I can go search for classes. The very first tab just says New Tab. That's an empty tab. So I'm inside Microsoft Edge, and then Excel is just one of the tabs. So to answer, to look at those 6 questions again and answer the first one, yes. The Excel programs I just looked at, the one from Cypress College, the one from Santa Ana College, those are both running inside browsers. One of them is running inside Microsoft Edge. That's Santa Ana College. I open that up inside of Microsoft Edge. And then the Cypress one, I opened up inside Mozilla Firefox. Now, I don't know if that explains the difference in the size of the spreadsheet and everything, but I'm not really concerned about the size. I'm going to show you the things that are definitely going to be different no matter what kind of computer you're using. So according to our first characteristics, the answer I just demonstrated, yes, they're both running in a browser tab. How about the second one? Does the Excel ribbon have a share tab? And it's usually the 4th ribbon tab. Okay, let's look at this. So this is Excel Online from Santa Ana College. I'm sorry, from Cypress College, not that it matters. I can see that the 4th item, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me zoom in even closer. File, Home, Insert, Share. There it is. The 4th item is the Share tab. And then let me go to my Santa Ana College version. To zoom out, I don't really have to zoom out, but I will. File, Home, Insert, Share. So File, Home, Insert, Share, Page Layout, Formulas, Data, Review. Don't worry about the other ones. Those will be similar to the desktop Excel. But the one that's different, the one that only appears in the online version, is the Share tab. You will not see that in the desktop version. At least you won't see that word here. You'll see it way off on the right-hand side, but you won't see it as one of the ribbon tabs. So getting back to our list of steps, if you see the word Share as one of the ribbon tabs, usually the 4th ribbon tab, then that means you are in the Excel Online version, which is not the version that you should be using when you take an Excel class. Certainly not my Excel class. Okay, and by the way, I should probably show you what the desktop version looks like at this point. So I'm going to switch over to the Excel desktop version, and let me make it a little bit smaller so you can see everything. In fact, I was looking at this project from my Excel class. So look at the ribbon tabs. And I'm going to stretch this out a little bit more. There we go. File, Home, Insert, Draw. So here, Draw is the 4th one. page layout, formulas, data, review, view, automate, and some of you won't have some of these others. You'll have help, but you may not have Developer, Acrobat, or QuickBooks. Those are extra, you know, the ones on the far right. But what you do not see at all in this area, this ribbon tab area, is the word share. So in the desktop version, there is no share. The one I'm showing you right now is the desktop version. There is no share tab. How can you remember this is the good one? Because I'm showing you your homework. If you're in my Excel class, this is one of the homework projects. So this is the good one. This is the desktop version. All right, so let me go back to our list of criteria. Number 3, does a gear settings icon appear in the top right? If so, then you're using Excel Online. So let me go to, this is the Santa Ana College version of Excel Online. Trying to set this up so it's easier for you to see. And I'm going to go all the way across to the right. And this is what I'm talking about, the gear settings icon. That is right up here. This is a gear. And it's typically used for changing your settings. That does not appear in the desktop version. It only appears in the online version, the bad version. Now you'll see that my sign-in initials are there, but you'll also see that probably in the desktop version. So really, I want you to just look at the things that are distinguished, that are unique between the two versions. So if you see a gear icon and it's in the Excel program, how can you tell that it's in the Excel program? Well, you can see the Excel icon here, and if you go all the way across on that same row, you can see the gear icon. So it's not part of the browser. That particular icon is not part of the browser. If it was part of the browser, it would be up in this area. It would be up here if it was part of the browser. But it's part of the program window. So this is Excel Online, the bad one, and it has a gear icon. So now let's go to the Cypress Online Excel version, which is going to be very similar. In fact, I just switched to it. I don't even have to move my drawings. Now, the zoom level is a little different, so everything looks a little smaller here. But clearly, it's set up the same way. There's a gear icon, plus there's my initials there. So in the online version, you have a gear. In the desktop version, you do not. So let me show you the desktop version. Right, it has that project. And when I scroll all the way to the right, even if I make this window as big as possible, there is no settings or gear icon anywhere here. Now, I do see a word share up there. There is a button for share. So that's available in both programs on the far right. But I don't see a gear icon, okay? I do see my initials way up here, way up on the top in a colored circle. And I do see my name, but I don't see a gear icon. So the desktop version of Excel does not have a gear icon way over on the right. Okay, let's go to the next item in our list. All right, so we just have 2 more items to check here. Can I start the Excel app from my start menu? Does it appear on my start menu list? Okay, so what I'm talking about now, and I'm going to go down to the bottom of my, excuse me, the bottom of my program, the bottom left-hand corner. If I click the little window in the bottom left-hand corner of my computer monitor screen right there, that's called the Windows Start button. So, of course, this entire video really is based around Windows. If you're using a Macintosh, some of the things we're talking about are going to also be true, but this part will be different. So this is a Windows computer I'm using. So I'll click the Windows icon, and that opens up the Start menu. And what it shows me is a list of all the applications alphabetized in the middle here, right? So let me scroll down so you can see this a little bit better. So you can see access, that's near the top. In fact, above access is 3D viewer, right? So usually numbers precede letters when you create an alphabetized list. So access, Adobe, right? If I keep scrolling down and go to the E section, there's Excel, E, right? So that's an indication that I have Excel on my computer. Now, it's possible for you to have that icon, and it's possible that it was there when you bought the computer. And if you click on it, they might ask you to pay. They might ask you to buy Excel online. So some computers, when you buy it, it comes with the Excel available, but you have to pay for it. Now, as a student, you don't have to pay for it. So what I would tell you to do is, if you click on that icon and they ask you to pay, well, I would say uninstall Excel from your computer and then download and install it from the school's website. But anyway, otherwise, without that being an issue, otherwise, this represents the Excel program. If I keep scrolling down, I'll see other programs too that you'll be familiar with. For instance, Paint is down in the P section, Publisher, PowerPoint are in the P section. I have Spotify on this particular computer. Word is down the bottom, W. Okay, here's another way to check to see if the Excel application is on your computer. I'm going to type in down in the bottom left-hand corner, I'm going to type in Excel, EXC. And as I type it in, the program is looking for Excel. And at the very top, it says Best Match Excel App. And then that's highlighted. So over here, it says Excel App. That's evidence that it's installed on the computer. And by clicking that, it will start up on my computer. At the very top, I could organize and separate all of the results, whether they're from the web, whether they're from documents, whether they're from settings, by clicking on apps right here. So that's actually a simple thing to do that eliminates anything that's not an application, right? So I clicked on apps here, and all it's showing me is Excel app. Now, in the Microsoft Store, of course, Excel is going to appear there, and they will offer to sell it to me there. So you'll see just below where it says Best Match for Apps, you'll see it says Store. And, if I kept typing the word Excel, I only typed 3 letters, but if I kept typing, they would find it for me in the store. Well, I'm not looking to buy it. I'm looking to see if it's on my computer. So Best Match for Apps, it's on the very top, Excel app, and I clicked it. So now it's starting. And it opens up. I'll show you the entire window. And let me remove that red arrow. So this is how it opens up when I start it from the start menu. And my choice is, the most popular choice oftentimes is to click a blank workbook. Well, that's right up here, blank workbook. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And so Excel opened up and started. This is a blank workbook, but this is the desktop version. Oh, wait a minute. I just noticed something very strange. And this could change one of our characteristics in the video. It looks like they may have changed the default font in the desktop version. It looks like Aptos Narrow. So in this blank new workbook I just created, I see Aptos Narrow. Strange. This could be an update. This could be a recent update to where Microsoft is changing from Calibri to Aptos Narrow. Let me go to a blank new, let me open up another sheet. That's Aptos Narrow. Let me do Control N for a new document. And that's Aptos Narrow. Okay, so I think I just found something out. This characteristic right here I might have to, let me highlight it in, yellow. That characteristic right there may not matter. It looks like Excel or Microsoft has changed the default font, not only in the online version from Calibri to Aptos Narrow. It looks like they've changed the default font in the desktop version also from Calibri to Aptos Narrow. So that's frustrating for me because I just learned that. I think I just learned that. So that characteristic you may not be able to use as representative of whether you're using the online version or the desktop version. Okay. So the other 5 items are valid though. So the last thing that we want to check is there a place for my full name to appear in the top right of the application? Okay. If so, then you're using Excel Desktop. So let me show you what I mean by this 5th item. So, okay, sorry about that. Instead of 6 items, we only have 5 that we can use. The default font is no longer a trustworthy characteristic that we can use. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to this right here, and you can tell me what I'm looking at. I'm going to go to the entire width. Well, first of all, in the 4th position, I don't see the share tab. I don't see the ribbon called share. And when I look up at the very top, up along the very top, I don't see any tabs. So I'm not in a browser. There is no share tab. There's no gear over here. So this is likely not the online version. However, a confirmation that it is the desktop version is that you'll see your name in the top right. So let me show you this. So there's no settings icon or gear icon, but you'll probably see either a place for your name, your full name, or you'll actually see your full name if you're signed in. So I do see my full name up there. I'm going to zoom in on that. So no gear icon, but I do see my name or a place for your full name. If you don't see your name there, you might see something that says sign in here or sign in. Okay. So that's why I say it's a place for your full name to appear. See what happens if I click it. Drops down and it shows me my it shows me my email address with the school, with Santa Ana College. Okay, so let me go back now to our list of steps, or I'm sorry, let me go to the online version and show you what it looks like. So this first one we'll look at will be the online version from Santa Ana College. How can you tell it's online version of Excel? Well, it has the share tab as the 4th position. It has the settings icon right next to my initials, and there is no place where my name appears. There is no place for my name to appear, and there is no place where it does appear. Okay. Now let me go to the Cypress version of Excel Online, which is the same, but it just appears so much smaller on my computer. So when I go to Excel Online with Cypress College, let me first show you the left side. Again, at the very top, there are tabs. My email's open. I've got this Excel Microsoft 365 tab. I've got this red M tab, and Excel is just one of the tabs. So that means that it's Excel Online. And then the 4th tab in the ribbon area, the 4th ribbon tab is Share, right? So that tells me that it's Excel Online. It's another confirmation. And if I go all the way to the right, whoops, I go all the way to the right, I see the gear menu, which is evidence that it's Excel Online. And I don't see a place for my name, or my full name does not appear. So that tells me that it's the online version. So I'm going back to the list of characteristics, and I will change this list so it no longer shows 6 characteristics, but 5. Okay, well, I hope that helps. Now, if you do not have Excel desktop, how can you get it? Well, I suppose I can show you that real quick. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to pause this recording. Okay, so if you don't have Microsoft Office installed on your computer, and therefore you don't have Excel desktop installed on your computer, as a student of Santa Ana College or Cypress College, probably any college, you can get it for free. Now, I'll show you the example for Santa Ana College. What you can do is just go to a browser tab, a new browser window. So I'll just, let me close. Oh, here's a new tab up here. I can show you this. So you can see that I'm in Excel Online and in the second tab. I'm going to go to this new tab and I'm going to type, let me zoom in. I'm going to type in Office 365. Now, I'm not typing in a website. I'm typing in 2 terms, the word Office, or 2 words, Office, and then the number 365 with a space in between. So obviously the browser is going to search for that item. But look at what it finds. The very first item it finds is the most relevant. Microsoft 365 and then Microsoft 365 login. So I'm going to click on Microsoft 365 login. Now, if you're not signed in to your Santa Ana school account, it may prompt you to sign in. And so sign in with your Santa Ana account. Actually, if you've been signing in, then you'll probably just have to hit OK. I'm going to click the link and see what happens. And since I'm already signed in, it takes me directly to my Microsoft 365 page. I'll show you how big it is and what it looks like. So this is basically my entire monitor. And you see that I'm signed in on the top right. You see AG over there. So I'm definitely signed in. And the red bar at the top, yours may not be red, it may be blue. I colored mine red. It's something, it's optional. You can change it. I colored mine red because for Santa Ana College, it was one of the colors. It's actually not pure red. It's a burgundy of some sort. And then over on the left here, some of you will look on the left and think, oh, I got Excel. It's right here. No, you don't. That's not Excel. That's Excel Online. That's not Excel on your desktop. So some of you are using that Excel, and it's the wrong Excel for the Excel class. Okay, so the reason I wanted you to come here is because I want to show you how to get Excel. Well, to get Excel, you got to go way over here to the other side of the window where it says Install and More. Now, why do they put it way over there? So that you miss it? Quite possibly, because this is where you downloading this costs them money. When you use the online version, there's very little cost for them. Your experience will be based on your browser. And as long as Excel can run in the browser, it's going to run fine. But when you go to install the actual program, things can go wrong. And then when things go wrong, people call Microsoft. And when people call Microsoft, it costs Microsoft money. So I'm trying to explain to you why it's not in Microsoft's best interest to make the installed versions of these programs obviously available to customers. They really don't want customers to use them because customers will have problems. And how does that reflect upon Microsoft when customers have problems? They don't feel very good about Microsoft. So sometimes it's best to hide things from customers, take their money and hide the product from them so that they don't get into trouble. This is my theory, and I think it's mostly correct because this is how businesses operate. It's how this kind of business operates. So I want to zoom in and show you what this looks like. This button over here, Install and More. And when I click that button, a drop-down list of choices appears. Install Microsoft 365 apps. That's the one. Don't click on the other ones. You want install Microsoft 365 apps. So I'm going to click that, and it takes me to another page. So the page changed. And now the page still has a red bar on the top. Again, that yours will probably be blue or black. Maybe yours will be black, but I colored mine red. But the rest of it should be similar. And so the next place you want to look at is where it says apps and devices. And by Office, actually, I kind of like this presentation because they show me a list of devices here. And it looks like I have it installed on 3 devices. And I think I can install it on up to 5. I think that's, whoops, sorry about that. I think that's what they'll tell you. I did it again, I changed. So let me hide that list. We don't need to see that. So, but this orange button where it says install Office, this is for the full versions of these programs: Word, Excel, Publisher, OneNote, Access. Oh, I'm sorry, PowerPoint was the 3rd one. Publisher is the 6th one. And then Outlook, and then Skype, and then I guess cloud, your cloud storage. So I'm going to click the Install Office orange button. And then way over on the right side, in my download drop-down menu there, I just saw Office Setup.exe appear on the list. Now I did it twice. That's why you'll see it twice on the list. And it doesn't matter which one I click. But when I click one of them, it will start the installation process. Okay. So these are all in my downloads folder. So if I had trouble, if I didn't want to do it immediately, I could go to my downloads folder and should I show you that? Maybe I should show you that. Yeah, in my downloads folder, I can see that I clicked on that install Office twice, and so there's 2 setup files. Doesn't matter how many you have. You only need one. But whichever one I double click, it will start the installation process. Okay. All right. Well, this video was much longer than I anticipated as a review. I just want to show you that we learned that the default font is no longer a reasonable tool for deciding whether you're using Excel Online or Excel Desktop, because it seems like Microsoft changed the default font to Aptos Narrow for both online and Excel Desktop as well. So if it appears on a tab in a browser window, if Excel has a share tab, usually as the 4th item, if there's a gear settings icon on the top right, then you're using Excel Online. On the other hand, if you can start the Excel app from your start menu, and when you start Excel, if you see your name, your full name appear on the top right, or a place where it says sign in on the top right, then that's most likely Excel Desktop. So those are 5 characteristics that you can look at to determine what program you're using, what version you're using, and then hopefully those last couple of minutes where I went to Office 365, well, Microsoft 365, and showed you how to click install apps. Hopefully that will help you too. Okay, so I'm making this video in spring of 2024, but I think the information is probably going to be applicable to summer, fall, and so I'll probably use this video in other semesters as well. So thank you for your time and your patience, and hopefully you learned something from this.